Hi everyone, it's me Anna. Welcome to my channel. And I recently gone book shopping, so I got a lot of new books, which I'm very excited about. And some of these books, by the way, are on my 2026 TBR list. A couple of months ago, I posted a video about books I want to read in 2026. A lot of these books are on the list, which I'm very happy about. A fun fact, half of these books, I think, or even most of them, I got in Malaysia. And Malaysia is very close to Indonesia, where I'm living in. So every time I get a chance to go there, I also go book hopping there, which is very fun because Malaysia has so many huge bookstores and very interesting ones as well. There are a lot of good bookstores in Indonesia too, but sometimes books that I want to read just aren't accessible in Indonesia, or even some authors aren't accessible here. So yeah, whenever I'm in Malaysia, I try to find as many books as possible that I want to read and that aren't obtainable in Indonesia. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. I'm very excited to tell you about these books. So the first one in this stack is A War of Wyverns, which is the sequel to A Language of Dragons. And I've seen some people compare this duology to Bubble by R.F. Kuang. I'm currently reading Bubble, by the way, and I can see why it's sometimes compared to that book, because both of the books explore languages and the impact they have on us as individuals, as those who sometimes subconsciously but still participate in the political affairs of our countries. I can see why this duology is compared to Bubble, but anyway, we're going to talk about Bubble later in another video. I don't know how I feel about this duology. I really like the idea overall. I like the plot, but the first book was just slightly boring, and I don't know why. I like the characters, I like the setting, I liked so many things in the first book. A quick synopsis, yeah. So our main character, Vivian, as far as I remember, her name is Vivian. So she's studying languages and translation and all of that. One day she accidentally starts a civil war. Her parents have also been arrested for whatever reason, and one day she gets a job offer from the government, and so she goes to this island with her colleagues, with other people, with other students, to not study, but actually work for the government and apply their language and translation skills to the work they're going to be doing there. And so this work that she's now doing for the government is basically about helping the government in this war, helping resolve this war as soon as possible by means of language. And on the island she discovers something suspicious and terrifying. And so that's the premise of the first book. Anyway, I'm excited to read the second one, and we'll see what I think of this duology as a whole. The next book here is The Tommyknockers by Stephen King. I was actually gonna get Mr. Mercedes that day because my partner is itching to watch the series, and I don't want to watch the adaptation until I've read the book because yeah, I don't want spoilers or anything. So he's been literally begging me to read Mr. Mercedes so we can start watching the show. So yeah, I was really gonna get that book, but then I saw Tommyknockers. I haven't really been in the mood for detectives. I saw Tommyknockers on the shelf, and before I picked it up, I didn't actually know what this book was about, but I saw the font, and okay, the cover maybe too, made me guess the genre this book is. It made me think that it was sci-fi, which turned out to be true. I looked it up, and indeed it is sci-fi, which I am so curious about because I think I've only read couple of sci-fi books by Stephen King. Maybe 11/22/63 is like a historical sci-fi, I think. And yeah, I can't recall anything else sci-fi by Stephen King that I've read. So I do want to read this one. And I guess the story begins with our main character stumbling upon an alien ship. I'm so curious to read something about aliens by Stephen King, something just more sci-fi from him. Yeah, very excited to get into this one. The next book is a very interesting one because I don't think I've read anything like this, and it's Break Room, a Korean novel. I don't even know how to describe this book. It's pretty short, and it's also filled with illustrations. Let me show you, like this. As far as I know, this is about office workers. Let me read the premise for you because I really don't know how to describe this book. 8 people receive a mysterious invitation to participate in a new... Oh, it's a reality show. It's not an office. Okay. In a new reality show called Break Room. Immediately things take a nasty turn when they learn how they were chosen. They were voted in by their own co-workers as the people they'd least like to share a break room with. Okay, as more details about the game are revealed and alliances shift, each contestant comes to realize that surviving the show isn't the greatest challenge. It's facing up to who they really are. Okay, so I think the voting system is quite suspicious here, but it's also interesting, and I think it sets the mood for the book. Yeah, I think this book is literally just about these people. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know, we'll see. I haven't read anything like it before, so yeah, but sounds interesting. It sounds like a book that, you know, would be good to read between some heavy reads, between like maybe, I don't know, fantasies or sci-fi or something like that. So yeah, sounds good. Sounds like a good break, actually. Okay, the next book is Blood Over Bright Haven, and I've heard so many good things about this one. About this author in general. I would also like to read her other book, which is Sword of Kaigen, but I couldn't find the book. I did find, though, this one. It's like a historical fantasy with an academy setting, I think. I don't really know what it's about, but I've heard that the magic system is really cool here, and we can see a typewriter on the cover, which is very exciting because, I don't know, I guess the magic system has something to do with typewriters, which sounds so good. So yeah, I'm excited to get to know this author. The next book is another Chinese novel. I said another because I recently read A Song to Drown Rivers, a book based on a Chinese legend. Can't explain, literally can't find the right words to convey how I feel about that book. It's one of the best stories I've ever read, one of the most tragic stories as well, but so good, so wonderful, so beautiful, and I think I could talk about the book for hours. But anyway, why I got this book, it's from different author. It's called The Poet Empress, and I've heard that it's just kind of similar to A Song to Drown Rivers. The magic system is, I think, based on poetry. There's also a dragon on the cover, so I'm assuming the dragon is somehow our main character. All I know about this book is that at the beginning of the story we're set in a poor village, and from there our main protagonist somehow gets to live in a castle. We'll talk about it more when I get to read it. Yeah, I'm very excited to feel this atmosphere of China and magic and castles again. Okay, this book is literally my treasure. It's literally my heart and soul. I haven't even read it yet. The City and Its Uncertain Walls by Haruki Murakami. This is his newest release, in a special edition at that. This is a hardcover and it looks like this. I think it's so pretty. I don't usually buy special editions. Like, it's not my typical behavior as a reader. I mean, I don't mind owning special editions, but I don't normally buy them. I usually buy just regular editions, paperbacks, even though I do enjoy reading hardcovers way more. Sometimes depends on the paperback's quality, but most of the time I really enjoy reading hardcovers. But when I saw this, I was like, no, this time I'm getting a special edition, because look at how beautiful this is. I mean, it's incomparable to the original, the regular like paperback. Looks so good, this clock and these shadows, and I'm so curious to see what the concept is. Also, by the way, such a nice coincidence, the Haruki Murakami book that's on my current TBR goes before this one, so I think it's gonna be a very good experience to read that book first and then this one, so like in order pretty much. They're two different stories as far as I can tell, but they're set in the same world. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that I decided to get this book now that, you know, it's just the perfect timing, I think. I'll show you more of the special edition when we get to this book. The next one is The Night Circus. It's about this very mysterious circus that unexpectedly arrives in your city, and it's only open at night. And that's all I know about this book. It sounds very magical to me. I'm very excited to read this because I haven't read many circus-themed books, and I've been craving to read something with a circus, something like very mysterious, magic-wise. I don't know what kind of magic is in this book. I don't know if it's even fantasy actually, but I think it is, but I'm not sure. No. Well, anyway, that's The Night Circus. The next one is by the author who wrote A Song to Drown Rivers. It's called If You Could See the Sun, and I think it's a magical realism type of a book. It's about a girl who uncontrollably becomes invisible, and then she starts benefiting from it by selling different secrets to her classmates, and so she finds out those secrets by turning invisible and eavesdropping. I want to read it because it's magical realism, and I think the concept is quite interesting, you know, turning invisible, but you can't really control it. And I'm curious to see where our main protagonist's ability will lead her in the end. So that's If You Could See the Sun. The next book here is A Dark and Drowning Tide. I haven't seen anyone talk about it, but it's a folklore-based book with a murder mystery in it. I think it's this like misty and foresty type of a book, if you know what I mean. It's about this group of people going on an expedition, and then the leader of the group mysteriously disappears, and our two main characters start investigating it. And I'm hoping to see some mythical creatures in this book because this is based on folklore, and again, this girl on the cover. Yeah, I think there may be some mythical creatures. Okay, and the last book for now is Vicious by V. Schwab, the first book in this trilogy. The third book in this trilogy is coming out this year, by the way. I don't know exactly when, but yeah, I've decided to give it another try because yeah, my V. Schwab reading experience hasn't been quite successful, and I don't know much about the plot yet, but it focuses on villains, and it's like a fantasy sci-fi with a little bit of an academy setting and some experiments, revenge, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. The overall setting and the characters, everything sounds so good. So hopefully we'll like this one. I'm still very curious about V. Schwab as an author. I didn't love Bury Bones in the Midnight Soil, the only book that I finished by her that I didn't DNF. I enjoyed it enough to keep exploring her work because I loved her writing. And the other book that I tried reading by her was a huge mistake of mine. That's why I think it wasn't a very successful read for me. Hopefully I like this one but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that was the last book, and this brings us to the end of this video. Let me know what books you're most excited to read on your TBR, if you have something on your TBR, and I will see you in the next video.